Okay, we're going to start back up. So the next 2 hours, we're going to cover the portal and then also contact management. So for the portal class, take some notes, but really I want you to focus on the value of the portal. When I teach the portal, I really like people to understand why they would use it, as opposed to like, this does this, that does that. You're going to learn much more about the portal if you understand it intuitively, and then, you play around with it on your own. So we're going to go into do a search real quickly, because to explain the portal, it makes a lot more sense if you understand it in context. So I'm going to do a search. You see my res search that we just set up, and we're going to do a city of, I'll do Olive Branch, and I'll do a price, say 200,000 minimum, and then we'll do beds. We'll do 4 beds, and we'll do 2 baths. And we'll do 250. Looks like that's, I narrow it down some more. And we'll do square footage. And then we'll do a map shape over here. Okay, so we have a search. Now, when we're dealing with clients, I want you to think of it as tiers of support. So with this search, there's a couple different things I can do. Tier 1, manual email. I could go to email, and I could manually email these to my clients. I am doing all the work. So tier 1, you are doing all the work. Now, tier 2 is a save, search, and subscription. If I go to save, and I save the search, and I put in the information for the search, and then I add a subscription, the system does the work. So what that means is when you save a subscription, you're telling the system, okay, my client wants properties in the Olive Branch in this shape, above 2,000 square feet and all those other search parameters. Every time there's a new listing or a price change or a status change, I want you to email my client, doing all the work. Now, what a lot of people will do is they will combine that tier 2 with tier 3. Tier 3 is the portal. The portal is a website your client can log into, tell you what they like, what they don't like. So basically, they are doing all the work. And so what's really happening now is real estate has changed. And so this next hour is kind of showing you the value of the portal, why you should use it. By the time you're talking to a client, you're working with a client, a lot of times they've already done half the work. Before, you did all the searching, you did all the work, but now with Zillow and these other sites, they are doing a lot of their own searching. They may already know what they want, and so they're just reaching out for you to check out an open house and sign some paperwork. So the great thing about the portal is it allows them to see what you see, just the public information. So the portal is a website your client can log into, tell you what they like, what they don't like. But the two main reasons why it's important, and I really didn't quite understand the value of the portal when I worked for Flex MLS until I moved to Miami Beach. I used to live in Florida, and I went down to Miami Beach, and I was looking at rentals because when I worked for Flex MLS, I was on the road a lot of times 2 weeks a month, traveling, doing trainings in person. And so what happened is I went down to Miami Beach to take a look at some rentals, and they didn't have Flex MLS. They had another product, and they didn't really have a portal. So what I did is I would find properties on Zillow. I would text them to my realtor and say, hey, I like this one. I like that one. Well, what's the problem in a hot rental market? Zillow would say active, but they already rented. And so the number one reason to use the Flex MLS portal, it is live, up-to-date information. What I mean by that is new listings show up in about 10 minutes. Price changes and status changes like 2 to 5 minutes. So that's live, up-to-date information. If your client wants to get that information when you get that information, that's why they should be using it. So that's something like that Zillow doesn't have. There's no guarantee Zillow's up to date. It could be a week old or whatever other site that they're using. So number one reason, live, up-to-date information. Now the second reason is you can track what they're looking at. Now why is that important? Well, clients, when they're doing their own searching, you don't know what they're doing. And so when I was searching for properties, rentals down in Miami Beach, my price range was about $300 less than what my realtor thought I could afford. I was on the road a lot for work, so I didn't want anything fancy. Well, she didn't know how important my price range was. So when I went down to look at some properties, everything she was showing me was $300, $400 more than I wanted to spend. I could afford it, but it wasn't important to me. So if they're doing searching inside of Flex MLS in the portal, you'll actually get to see what they're looking at. So the purpose of the next 2 hours, and this is why I like to group them together, is we're going to walk through the portal, see what it does, see how it works, and then we're going to generate data for the contact management hour where you're going to actually get to see what your client's looking at, what they like. So that's really the purpose of this. You can take notes in the next hour or two, but I just really want you to understand the value of it, because once you start playing around with it, it makes so much more sense. Normally when I teach this class in person, the portal class, I'll even make it longer, and we'll do portal partners where one person plays the client, the other person plays the agent, and you take turns setting each other up in the portal and creating data. So it's much more much more interactive, and that's what I recommend you doing after today is find someone like a spouse or a friend, set them up on the portal, and then have them generate that data for you, because you're going to start to see the value once you've seen it with your own eyes. This next hour really is just showing you, hey, this is an optionality that you have, and to see the value of it. So one way to add the portal, that tier 3, is I'm going to add in a search name. We'll do Wedge Antilles Olive Branch 200K plus. And then I'm going to go to existing. Is Wedge there? No, he's not. So I'm going to add a new contact. Wedge Antilles. Wedgie88 at mailinator.com. I'm sending it to mailinator.com because I'm going to try to show you what the emails look like. Murphy's Law, though, when you're training, things don't always work. So hopefully it will. Otherwise, I do have a portal account already set up. But it says, create a portal account for this prospect. Yes. And invite this customer to the portal. Yes. So what you can do is you can save a search and a subscription, which is that tier 2 level of support. The system's doing the work for you, and add it with tier 3. The portal, where they're doing the work. And what I mean by that is if you set them up in the portal, a subscription is basically a reminder to go back into the portal, because that portal is their own site. And then they have their own login. They start clicking on listings, you get to see that. They like listings, you get to see that. So this is all going to make more sense in about the last half an hour of this hour. So I'm going to click on Save and Add Subscription. And there's a couple different ways you can add people to the portal. In the contact management class next hour, we'll cover that. But maybe I just want ASAP. Whenever there's a new listing price change, go to them. And so we got some information, click on Save. So by creating the portal while I'm saving the search and subscription, I'm doing all this at once. So what does the portal invitation look like? Well, let's see if we can pull it up right now. Sweet. Okay. So new listing updates from Awesome Realtor. That is the subscription email. Pay close attention to this. I mentioned this before about the opt-in status report, which I asked you to write down when we were talking about menu items in the first hour. If your client doesn't click on yes, please send me listings, they're not receiving subscription emails. You may think they are, but they are not. So if you click on yes, please send me listings, that will opt them in. So that's something that's very important. Now, the other email that came in, just give me 1 second. Welcome to your portal. Now, if you currently have a portal, and I'll put this up, your message is going to be different. I actually updated my message, and you may want to take a photo of this with your phone. But what I did is I changed it to say, welcome to your portal, which is the subject, and then it says, welcome to your portal. I'm explaining what the portal is in the invitation message, so it's easier for them. Here you can do your own searching, save the listings you like, and hide the listings you don't. And the best thing, the listings you see in the portal contain live, up-to-date information, something that other sites like Zillow don't have. I've explained the value of the portal in one paragraph. And then the next paragraph, I just explained how to set it up. Click on the link below and follow the steps on the next screen. Tap or click on the person icon in the upper right corner to sign up. So we're going to sign up. And okay, so it's already logged me in as Luke Skywalker because I did this for testing. But they would literally click on this, they would sign up. For the password, I just tell people 1, 2, 3, 4 so they don't, never forget what it is. Or what's really great is what you can do with something like the portal is if you have a client who's in town or working with you, I like to keep an iPad in my car, or you could have an Android tablet. iPads are now about $300. Android tablets are under $200. You keep that tablet in your car. You can actually have a client, log into the portal from your tablet and play around with it while they're in the car with you. So if they have any questions, they can ask you, and you're driving to these different houses, say, oh yeah, save listings you like, explain the process while they're with you. I find that it's really helpful. But this is basically the portal. So I'm going to minimize this just to show you something. This is the full screen. It's responsive to your screen size. If you were to make it look more like a phone, this is what they see. So the same icons, it's just in a more condensed version. So I'm going to keep it here for a second, and then we'll switch to the full screen, because what happens is they're probably seeing that email on their phone. Most people work off their phone. And so if you want them to play around with the portal, this isn't a really cool way to do it. And like I said, this makes a lot more sense once you've invited someone, like a friend, to the portal so they can play around with it and create data for you. This data is what we're gonna generate. Okay, so magnifying glass, I wonder what that does. Most people say, well, that's probably the search. So I'm gonna click on that, and let me just check to see if we have any emails or messages. Looks like not. Okay, so this is gonna do some basic searching. So what does the star mean? Oh, that probably means to save a listing. And this probably hides a listing. So this seems pretty self-explanatory. If I want to go into listing, just click on it or tap on it because they're probably on their phone. So what do they see? They see a map, they see photos, description. Now, if you were looking at the Flex MLS app, and we will be covering the app tomorrow in the afternoon, we'll be doing an hour for Android and an hour for Apple, you would see right away the other agent's information. They don't see that because they just see the public information. So they see all the public fields, and they can hide, they can save, they can share. What's the first thing that they see up the top? Contact agent, meaning you. So there's Chewy. So the great thing about the portal is if you get them on this site, you explain the value of it. It's live, up-to-date information. You track what they're looking at so you can better help them with their search. But it's branded to you. So one thing I like to explain about the portal is once people understand it and are able to explain it to their clients, this is a great way to pick up prospective clients. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's say you're at the Walmart and you're wearing your realtor name badge and someone runs up to you and says, oh, you're a realtor. We're in town for vacation, or we have family here and we want to buy a property. And you're in a hurry, or they're in a hurry. You don't have time to spend half an hour doing a search. You just want to get them something right away, so it's branded to you, so they know that you are that expert. So what we'll do in tomorrow when we're looking at the app is I'll show you how you can invite someone to the portal with your app. But when you invite them with the app, it takes about 20-30 seconds. They're going to get a portal invitation, which let me just go back and show you this. Oh, let me send that first. This portal invitation looks like this. Very, very simple. If you have the instructions filled out, they can follow it. So it takes you almost no effort to get them an invitation. They sign up. And then what you can say is, okay, well, I'm in a hurry, or I got to be somewhere, or you're, they're in a hurry. Let me follow up with you in, 3 to 4 days, and I'll take a look take a look at what you're looking at, and we'll go from there. So it's no pressure. You're already giving them what they want anyways. They want to be able to do searching themselves. That's what people are doing now, but they're doing it on 4 or 5 different websites. They're actually looking at different sites to see what's wrong with the listing, like if there's differences. And a lot of times there is, because Flex MLS is the primary source of information, where if they go to another site like realtor.com or Zillow, it's not the primary source. And as we know with Zillow, there's no guarantee it's live, up-to-date information, where Flex MLS always is. Those updates happen right away. So if you give them access to Flex MLS through the portal, they see what you see, but just the public version of it. So they don't see the commission rates. They don't see that other agents' information. And any conversations they have, like we just did, we sent Chewy a message, come through you. And so we'll go back. So right now what I'm doing is I'm generating actual data to take a look at. So we want to tap, hide listings. We can star listings if we like them. Now you see up at the top that says filter. I wonder what that does. Oh, they can do their own searching. So this is just like they would do on other sites. But again, it's that live, up-to-date information. So enter location. Let's do Hernando. Branch. Okay, usually cities here. Let me make a note of that. I'm not sure what your setup is. Probably just a setting. But they do subdivisions. Okay, price. We'll do 300, 350,000. We'll do 4 baths. We'll do 5 beds. Okay, we're down to 21 results, or 11 results now. Click on view listings. There you go. Now, this portal invitation, this one I set up for training for this class, I haven't saved a search or set up subscription yet. This literally is like, okay, I met Luke Skywalker at Walmart, talked to him for 2 minutes, sent him a portal invitation. He's now playing along with the portal. And then I told him, in 3-4 days, I'll give you a call. He's generating that data for me. So the great thing about the portal is you can almost kind of like change the order how you do things. A lot of times people will manually send listings to your client, see what people like, then they'll save a search and subscription. And then like if they're really involved and they're always text them, then they set up the portal. With how this works now, you can actually just do the exact opposite. Set them up with the portal. It takes less than a minute. Then in a few days, you take a look at the data that they're generating for you, the things that they like, that they don't like. You now have a reason to reach out to them and say, hey, okay, so 3-4 days, I reach out to Luke and say, oh, it looks like you're interested in properties in Hernando, about 300,000 plus. Does that sound about right? Yeah. Would you have a square footage range? Probably 2,500. Let me save a search and subscription for you that'll remind you to go back into the portal. So you'll see those new listings, those price changes. So you actually create a search and subscription after you've set them up with the portal and you know what they actually want. Because a lot of times clients will tell you what they want. And the expression, I don't like it, but it's kind of true, buyers are liars. You may find they're searching for other things. So let them give you the data. Let them tell you exactly what they want when they're using the system, and then create a search after. That's the reason like this portal class the next hour, I mean, you can take notes, but really I want you to understand why you would use it and the value of it. And then once you start playing around with it, that's where you really get to understand it. But intuitively, I want you just to see, okay, this is like your Zillow killer. This is if you're able to teach this properly and explain it to your clients, you'll get them off those other sites. And then it just makes your job a lot easier. So the filter allows you to do, search parameters. This map, pretty self-explanatory. Click on the map. They see a map. This rectangle is like that polygon, free-form polygon. If they want to draw a shape, they would just tap with their finger. And go to filter, and then they click the X. Now they're down to like 3 properties. If they want to view anything, they can tap on it. They see all that information. Again, the first thing they see is contact agent, meaning you. They don't have access to the other agent. Can hide, save, or share it. They can share it. So people tend to share listings with their husbands, wives, mother-in-laws, that kind of thing. This is valuable information, which we will see in a little bit. Okay, so just to sum up what we're doing in the portal so far is when they log in, they're brought to the home section. And once they log in, it should save the cookie in their browser. So what that means is once they've signed up, they have their emails there. They do the 1, 2, 3, 4 for the password. Once they sign up, that cookie is in their browser. So if you set up a search and subscription, after 3 or 4 days, they'll get a subscription that shows, okay, there's new houses in that search for Hernando between 300 and 350,000. They see a new listing come up. When they click on that listing, that brings them back into the browser, that logs them back. It's already logged into the portal because that cookie is in the browser. So basically the subscription is a reminder to go back into the portal. So it brings them automatically back into the portal. And let me just check emails and text, make sure nothing's come in. Okay, looks like we're good. So yeah, subscriptions and having a search and subscription with the portal, I think is a great idea. But you can just change the order depending on how you're dealing with the client. And I use the Walmart example, or an open house. When the coronavirus stuff goes away, like open houses will be a thing again. And someone comes in, maybe you have 10, 15 people have an open house. Someone comes in, they want to talk to you, and there's a lot of people, and it's like you don't have a lot of time. Let me get your information. You send that portal invitation to them, and then they start playing around with the portal, and you follow up them when you have more time. You have a half an hour to talk to them. Then you get to see what they actually like. So you're more informed, and you have that reason to call back. The reason to reach out to them is you're not just reaching out to them like, oh, I see that this is what you like. Is that correct? Okay, let me get you that search and subscription set up. So this is the searching. So we start things that we liked, hide things we don't like new listings. This is getting updated. The map lets you draw shapes, and then the filter lets them do, whatever searching they'd like to do. You do a subdivision, property subtype. Maybe this person wants a condo. Okay, so we got condos or townhomes. And then you can do a price range, whatever you want. So that's searching. Now, the next thing I want to point out is the star. The star is where your save stuff goes. So it says searches. Once you save a search for your client, that's going to show up here. Now, I do want to point something out. If you pay for Flex MLS's IDX, and I'm not sure the price these days, it might be like $3.99 a year. If you pay for the Flex MLS IDX, they can do their own searching and save it. Right now, they can do their own searching. They just can't save it. So if you're working with them, just say, star the things you like, hide the things you don't. And then once I have an idea of what you're interested in, then I, as your agent, will set up a search for you. So that's just the difference. And then we see what they've saved, what they've hidden. Sometimes your clients can't articulate what they're interested in. So if you come here and take a look, you as the expert might get a better idea of what they're trying to avoid or what they really like. So you go to the hidden, or you go into the saved. Now, they can even go a star, like if they're really tech savvy, they go here, they can realize, okay, just tell me. If you're kind of interested in something, do 1 star. If you're really interested in something, do 2. If you absolutely love it, 3 stars. So they could actually tell you these things, assuming they know how to use it. So the more proficient you get with the portal, the better you're able to explain it to your clients. So like I said before, set someone up, one of your coworkers or family members, friends. But if you're going to do it with coworkers, other realtors, have them give you an email address that they don't use for work, because their work email address, they already have their own portal account. So Flex MLS might get confused. So if they have a Yahoo or a Gmail account or something that they use for personal use, then have them give that to you, and then set them up the portal, because you want them to generate that data. Once you've done this a few times with friends or coworkers, you see the value of it. You're able to give that, how you have like a 30-second elevator speech? Well, if you have like a minute-long portal speech that explains the value of it, the people that you meet at that open house or at the Walmart, you can really explain it and you get people hooked. So that, we'll go back to the saved. If they do have a search, it'll show up right here. Otherwise, anything they've saved or hidden. Now, the next one is the bell. This is the newsfeed. Now, because I don't have a search or subscription, I don't see a newsfeed. But basically what a newsfeed is if they have a search and subscription set up, the newsfeed is like every email that goes out, the new listing, the price changes, the status changes, those start to accumulate here. It's like Twitter. The newest tweet will be up at the top. So if they have a price change that was 5 minutes ago, that'll be at the top. That'll be higher than the status change that was 3 hours ago. So this will keep track of all of their saved searches in the individual listings. So they come here, they can take a look at, what's been happening. This will only show up, though, again, if they have a saved search and subscription, which I do highly recommend having. But, I like doing that portal invitation right away because it takes almost no effort, 20 to 30 seconds to get that invitation out. They sign up, it's really easy, and then they're off to the races. They're already generating that data for you, which will give you a reason to reach out to them. And then if you just click on the initials, if they want to pull up their profile information, but really they're just going to be focusing on these four. Really, not even this one. They'll start here, but they're going to go to search, the save, or the bell. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to maximize this so we just see. Go back to the home. This is what they see if they were on a tablet or a full-size computer. I like to start with the mobile version first because that's really what most people do these days. But the same process works from the full screen. So we go to search. It's just spread out. So they see the map on the right side. They don't have to tap on a button to go to the map. They can like things. They can hide things, and even here, like they hover over stuff. It'll actually give that property information. Filter is the same thing that we saw before, just in a bigger screen. And we'll do a price, 400,000. We do beds, bass. View some listings. Star or hide things, or if they tap on something, they can go in the actual property. Okay, I've been notified by Flex MLS that the radius searching with an address should be working again in Flex MLS. So maybe we'll test that in the next hour just to see. Key thing to remember, the contact agents, what's up at the top, that is the first thing they see, meaning you. So you get them hooked on that portal right away. They're associating, they're searching with this up-to-date information, this beautiful information with you. That's what you want, because they're using those other sites and they're getting frustrated. You can use that as a selling point. You're getting tired of using Zillow? Well, I have something that's so much better than Zillow. And explain, this is where the data comes from. This is the best data. They scroll through the information. All the information that's public, they're going to see. They can hide it, they can save it, they can share it. But again, it's branded to you. So that's the really cool thing. You go through the photos. If they were on their phone, they would swipe through or tap on things. And then we go to saved. So we have 5 saved scenes, 4 that have been hidden. Now, recommended. I will cover recommended, how to do that when we're doing the apps tomorrow. But basically, the reason you would recommend listings is, okay, so let's say you've decided your client wants between 300 and 350,000 in Hernando. Well, you watch the hot sheet every morning and you see something that shows up. There's been a price drop to 353 in Hernando. And okay, well, that's not in their price range in their search, so they won't see that. But for that street, 353 is just an absolute steal. Most of those properties are going for 370, 380. You find out that person just needs to sell, they're taking a job elsewhere. So what you tell your client, well, once or twice a week, I might recommend a property to you. It's not exactly in your search parameters, but I think it would be a good fit. It's only $3,000 above their price range, but it's a lot of house for that value. You are the experts. So you say recommended. Well, I'm going to recommend some listings, and these recommended listings will show up in the newsfeed. So once you show them how to use the portal, that is a really cool thing. You can also hidden by agent. You can hide listings for your clients. Like if they really hate the color blue, and there's a certain subdivision with a bunch of blue sided houses, you could manually hide those. Then the newsfeed. The newsfeed is, again, that's those subscriptions. So when they have a search that's been saved, any new listings, price changes, status changes, that's going to show up here. Okay, so the portal. I'm hoping you understand the value of it. Now, like I said before, the 2 reasons to use the portal: live, up-to-date information. And this is something that will really make sense to your clients. And I use the example when I moved down to Miami Beach, I was looking for rentals, and rentals would go in a day or 2. And well, we know in Zillow, a lot of times it takes a week for something to get updated. So I literally wasted 2 weeks of my time and my realtor's time, look at all these properties on Zillow. I text her the MLS number and say, hey, I like that one, I like this one. And she'd come back, it's already been rented. So the number 1 reason, live up-to-date information. Number 2 reason, you can track what they're looking at. And that's what we're actually going to be doing in the next hour in contact management, among other things, is everything that I'm doing right now and have been doing for the last half an hour is creating data points inside contact management, listings that your client's looking at, what they like, what they don't like. It's going to give you more information about your clients, and it's going to give you that reason to reach out to them. Because, if you're just reaching out to your client saying, hey, how are you? That's one thing. But if you're saying, oh, looks like you really like that property in Hernando, that brick house, like on Nesbitt Street. Do you want to take a look at that one? Oh, yeah, I'll be in town this weekend. You have a reason to reach out to them because you're just fulfilling what they want to do anyways. So those are the 2 reasons to use the portal. I want to make sure you understand the value of it, and then we'll just spend the last few minutes of this hour making sure we've set it up correctly. So we're going to go back to being the agent again. So what we're going to do, and this is what you want to write down: portal preferences. And I don't even have to type in the whole thing because it's going to find it right here. Or just to type in the word portal, I'm going to see a menu item that says portal preferences. And there's just a couple of settings here that I want to point out that I think are very valuable. So I'm going to click on portal preferences. Now, there's 2 ways you may look at this. If you see this, you're already on the new portal. If you see this, you see it start with a photo or a video, and this is try the new Flex MLS portal. You're going to want to try the new Flex MLS portal, but I will warn you, if you're currently using the old portal and you really like it, like you're not really interested in what I've been showing you, if you try the new Flex MLS portal, it changes all your clients to the new portal. It's not just one or the other. So just to let you know, if you see this and you want to use the new portal, try the new Flex MLS portal, and you can watch that video. It's about 2 minutes. It gives a nice summation of what the portal does. And here are all the portal settings. I just want to point out the few that are important. So I'm going to go to intro. That's the video if you want to watch it. Portal basics. So portal name. This one's been called Picky Buyer. Usually what this would be is this would be your name of some sort, like your first name and your last name. If you're Mike Smith, there might be some numbers after because it's such a common name. But this portal URL, this is something you want to write down. Make sure you're enabled, because if you turn, this is like a Mr. Coffee maker. Make sure you're enabled. You're turned on. It's green. But this portal URL is important because this URL, if you bookmark this on your tablet that I was talking about and you keep that in your car, you could, can that over to your client. They could play around with the portal. Once they know their username and password, their username is their email address. Their password's 1234. So they don't even have to pull up an email. Just they tap on this or they click on this link on your tablet, clear your cache so they don't see anything else. They log in, and so let's say you're driving between Nesbitt and Hernando, and then you need to go to Olive Branch. So you have some time in the car. So you tell them, okay, well, why don't you search on the portal while you're with me and tell me what you like, what you don't like. So, when I have some time, I can review what you've been searching on. We were already looking at, 3 or 4 houses today, but, get comfortable with the portal, because maybe they don't live in Mississippi. Maybe they live in Virginia, and they're moving to be closer to their grandkids. And so you're not going to see them every weekend. You might see them once a month. You have a little bit of time with them, give them that tablet, teach them how to use the portal while you're with them. And then when they go back, they're doing all their searching anyways, but they're doing it in the Flex MLS portal. They're not doing it in Zillow. They're not doing it in Redfin. So get them hooked on the data that you see. It's just going to make your job easier. Next one is my listings. Now, personally, I turn this off. It's personal preference, but if you have a lot of listings, say you have a lot of listings between 400 and 500,000, and you get a referral from a friend of a friend, and they're looking to buy something for 200,000. Well, every time they log in the portal, they see all of your active listings between 400 and 500,000. They're just like, why are you showing me this? I can't afford those. So just personal preference, I usually turn this off. I find it gets kind of confusing. Intro email. This one's really important. Now, if you go here in your portal preferences, you'll notice your message is different. Your message is very basic. I've updated my message to say things that actually explain what the portal is. So what you might want to do is, I'll give you a second, get out your phones and take a photo of this. Because the subject before used to say a portal in quotation marks, which doesn't, what does that mean? I don't know, for your information or something, for your, that means nothing to me. So I'm using the portal in terms that they are going to understand. This is about them. This isn't about you selling properties. This is about them buying properties that you can help them with. And then I have a message I've updated. It says, welcome to your portal. Here you can do your own searching, save the listings you like, and hide the listings you don't. And the best thing, the listings you see in the portal contain live, up-to-date information, something that other sites like Zillow don't have. Like I said before, I've explained in one paragraph the value of the portal. It's the first thing that they see. Is something that they're going to understand. That reference to Zillow, they're usually going to figure out what that means. And I say, click on the link below and follow the steps. On the next screen, tap or click on the person icon in the upper right corner to sign up. So I try to go through that process, but as I already signed up with another person. Basically, I was preparing for Murphy's Law. Mailiner.com doesn't always work when I'm teaching, so I want to make sure that I could show you what it looked like. And then there's some other options like listing content options if you don't want them to see open houses or default subscription settings. I personally don't change any of this. I don't find it's that important, but really it is a kind of cool thing if you want to tweak it some more. But I don't see it's that important. Okay, so let's sum up what we did in the portal section. So first thing I really wanted you to come away with this is the value of the portal. I'm hoping you understand the value of the portal. And we talked about tiers of support with your clients. We do a search and we put in some search parameters. So we'll do city of Branch. We'll do some, we'll say 6 baths. Let's get a really nice house. Okay, so we have 6 results. My 3 tiers of support. I can email my clients some listings. That's tier 1. You are doing all the work. You don't want to do that. When I teach, a lot of times I'll teach places and people say, well, I wake up at 5 o'clock every morning to email my clients listings. And I'm like, why? Let the system do the work. Because of how real estate is changing, start to finish, you used to do everything for your client. Now it's almost like they've come in halfway. They need you to hold their hand, create a stress-free transaction. So if you let the technology do work for you, benefit you, then you can focus on the people aspect, which is what your value is as a realtor, is the people aspect, getting them through this process. It's going to be one of the biggest decisions of their life. And I know a lot of people, the technology overwhelms them. And so my teaching, and this is why I love to teach in person so much, is showing people the value. This technology is a good thing. Learn it, and so then you can, focus on what you're good at, that people aspect. So the tier 1 is the manual email. Tier 2 is that save, search, and subscription. When you save this search and set up a subscription, the system does the work. It emails your clients new listings, price changes, status changes. Now remember, new listings show up in about 10 minutes. Price changes and status changes show up in about 2 to 5 minutes. So that's great. Tier 3 though, that's the portal. The portal is the website your client can log into, tell you what they like, what they don't like. They are doing all the work. Now, most people will combine tier 2 and tier 3, which I do recommend. What I like to teach now is, because how the industry is changing, they're doing so much of themselves. Why don't you enable them to do their own searching first? Get them hooked on the portal. It takes a couple of minutes at tops. I mean, when you send a portal invitation, and I'll show you in the next hour, like 20 seconds to send out that portal invite. They'll get an email within a couple of minutes. They sign up, and then they're off to the races. So then I showed how we did that, and then what we did is we went into an actual email. So Wedgie got a portal invitation and also a subscription invitation, because we did them all at once. Now remember, the subscription is an opt-in process. Your client physically has to click on this link, or if you manually send them emails, they click on a manual email, that will opt them in. The opt-in process is good for 13 months. If they click on an email at any point in 13 months, they're good for another 13 months. But don't assume you send an email to your client that they're getting those subscriptions. That's what that opt-in status report is for. And we point that out one more time. The OPT, opt-in status report. This is something you should be checking once a week. Check if someone's still pending after 20 days, like, oh, they're not receiving those emails. Then what we did is we went into the actual portal, and I showed you a couple different ways. So I showed you as a mobile version, and then we went through the different tabs. They can do their own searching, which is what you want, because they're doing it anyways. You might as well get them hooked on what you see, but the public information. They can't access that other agent's information. They like things, they hide things. The map will allow them to do, map shapes. They filter to do their own searching. What all this does is this generates the data for you, and we're going to look at that in the next hour. Then the Newsfeed button right here, this will be, if they have a subscription set up, any new listings, price changes, status changes, the newest changes will be up at the top. So this is what the mobile screen looks like. Whereas if they're using a tablet or if they're using a computer, it's responsive to the screen size, so they're going to see the entire thing. So after we did that, we kind of understood how your client uses the portal. Again, like I said, I keep saying, play around with this, set someone else up with the portal, because you're not going to quite understand all these different options until you do that. Really, this hour for me always is when I teach this is I want you to see the value of it, because a lot of people, the portal is just, they just don't get it. But once you get it and you're able to teach it, it's pretty awesome. So once they generate that data for you, we're going to look at that in a little bit. But to set up our portal, we want to go to Portal Preferences. And Portal Preferences, make sure you've written that down. And we see this, we're good to go. If we see the classic portal, it's going to default with the video that you can watch, and says try the new Flex MLS portal. A few times, every once in a while, people will say they don't want to use the new portal. That's personal preference, but I find most people switch over. So they try the new Flex MLS portal. And then the few things that we want to point out. Portal basics, make sure you are turned on, you are green. And then this URL, this is branded to you. You do facebook.com/your name or whatever, that's your Facebook page. This is like this, the same thing. We go here, and I'm actually going to cut and paste this. If I go here, I'm not even, it says then that's where I can log in. So this is your portal page. In my listings, I usually turn this off just because, again, if you have a discrepancy in what you were listing properties, and then if you're working with someone to buy a property and there's a huge, thousands of dollars difference, it may just kind of anger them. So, and then intro email, I've updated this message with information that makes sense, something that my client is going to understand. So I asked you to take a photo of this, and then we didn't really talk about the other ones. You can go through each other option if you want, but I find they're not necessary. So that is the portal section. It's 12:50. We're going to start up again at about 102, 103. So I will see you in a little bit.